Hello Nikki, hello Transport Evolved. I hope you're all well on Friday. It is Friday, excellent. It was interesting listening to you about your friend who was going to have to fill up his car every other day. I'm really interested in how that can be acceptable, but plugging in once a night and always waking up with a full car isn't, because the plugging in once a night actually requires less effort. But I guess that's not what people perceive. People just see a charging time of 8 hours when using a home charging station, and somehow that gets translated to 8 hours of my time wasted. And yes, economies of scale are really going to help EVs, firstly because of the cost of the batteries, but secondly, these cars, even ones that have been designed from the ground up as electric cars, like the Leaf and the i3, they're being built on the same production lines as other cars from that maker. And because of that, certain compromises have to be made to allow them to use the same production line. So as the economies of scale go up, these cars can get their own dedicated production lines. They can become more dedicated EVs. Comedy and electric cars. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I don't think there's anything wrong with making jokes about anything. And I guess I should put that out there first. I've done stand-up comedy, I write comedy. I don't have a problem making jokes about anything. But they have to be funny. And to be funny, something has to be in the shared public consciousness. And that's the problem we have with EVs. At the moment, in the public consciousness, they don't see EVs the way we see them. They see them as milk floats. So the only jokes you can make on a wider scale are those jokes about them puttering around, being slow, maybe having an extension cord that comes out the back like those old Hoovers used to have in the UK, and when you get to where your location is, you press the button and it sucks the cable all the way in. It's very hard to make a joke about how we see electric cars and how our viewers probably see electric cars, because that view of them isn't ingrained into the public consciousness, and that's the problem. And I listened to the link of the radio show, the Indian radio show, talking about the Revo, and yeah, it was mildly amusing, but it was painting the drivers in a negative light. And I guess there is an element of how much stock do you put into the characters portrayed in comedy. Some people put a lot of stock in that, and that's why some people get very, very upset and very, very offended. And everyone has the right to be offended. Just because someone is offended by something doesn't mean the thing that offended them was bad, was wrong, was something that should be stopped. What did I want to talk to you about today? It was actually spurred off the back of a piece that you wrote yesterday. And it's about electric cars that are expensive, especially electric cars that start edging their way up to the £50,000 or the $50,000 mark. And the phrase that me and you and other people in the EV world always go back to is, well, surely you'd just rather buy a Tesla. But why isn't it happening? Because it's not happening. People do buy i3s that are fully spec'd out. People do buy RAV4s at that price. Now, there are a couple of reasons I can think of. The first one being the biggest problem for Tesla is that I don't think a lot of people know who Tesla is still. They've just seen this RAV4 EV and gone, oh look, there's an electric version. Oh, it's a little bit more, but then I can make some savings with my solar panels. Oh, it'll be really great. I'll get that. Secondly, do people trust Tesla? Tesla in the media has been hauled over the coals a little bit because of its safety record. Not that it's that bad, but there were those incidents, and that may be stuck in someone's mind. So they go, oh, Tesla, they're the cars that blow up, or they're the cars that catch fire, or they're the cars that ran out of power on the Top Gear test track. Oh, I won't have one of them. I'll have the Toyota. Toyota have been making cars for a lot longer than Tesla have. But I wondered what your views on it were. Why aren't these people buying a Tesla, but they're buying the fully spec'd out i3 or the RAV4 EV or other cars at similar prices? Why don't they go for the Tesla? What is the reason that's stopping them? And I'd love to get people's views on that. And because it's a weekend and we've got loads of time to think, what can Tesla do to address that? Because there must be something they can do, and hopefully get them some more sales, and then they make the Model E, which is nice and cheap, and then I buy one, and then I have a Tesla. This is all self-serving. Anyway, I'm going to go now. I'm feeling absolutely rotten today, so I'm going to go and drink lots of coffee and do work. I shall probably see you later, Nikki. I shall probably see you over the weekend at some point too. Goodbye. Bye bye, Transport Evolved.